Today, you are rocking with the United States Private Enterprise Free State and Dijama Eliantis Church. And we are going to bring you a wealth of prosperity on this beautiful, beautiful beach setting day. You know what I'm saying, my people? It's all about wealth and prosperity. I'm going to wait for y'all to get on up in here to peep this message, what we got for you today. So, check it, my people. The title, what we're going to be going through today, is called Blueprint Builder of Treasury Wealth. Okay? Blueprint Builder of Treasury Wealth. Treasury wealth and prosperity. You know what I'm saying? So you see that horizon up there, right? That is prosperity. That is the prosperity of the planet right now. The skies are kind of cloudy out there, my people. You know what I'm saying? We got a plane passing over. So basically, we're going to start out with bills, making payments for bills outside of the IRS, like car loans, student loans, mortgage payments, apartment payments, such as debts like utilities, loans, gym memberships, credit cards, car payments, mortgages, etc. Car insurance, whatever you deem to be a debt in your life and a bill that needs to be paid because since they have, you know, confiscated certain true ways of bill payments these days, we are resorting to paper. Now, paper can be the IRS paper. Now, we know of the bill payments and the tools and the instruments that the IRS grants us to use because they will send it to you by way of mail. Now, let me break it down for you how to pay bills using the IRS Treasury instruments or offsets. Okay? The process is often referred to as redemption or private creditor theory process. This involves asserting rights over your SSN or trust, claiming to be the authorized representative and using bond related forms. What bond related forms are we referring to? The 1099 OID, 1099A, 1099B, the 1096 transmittal form. You have 1099Gs, 1099Ks. You have a host of 1099s that you can use to offset debt. So, my people, we have the 1040 voucher and we have the use for payment coupon to settle debts. Now, if you've already filled out a Form 56 and a UCC1 financing statement and a POA 2848 form and claim interest over the trust, or you can issue a bonded promissory notes. You can send payment coupons with accepted for value language. You can do a 1099 OID with a 1096 and declaration. But to do that, you would have to have done a status correction. So that's why a lot of people get a kickback and they're unable to use these forms, and the forms get canceled out on their tax transcripts because the IRS will cancel a 1099 OID out, a 1099 AB out, if you do not have the authority to submit the form. Now, if the offset is federal through the Treasury Offset Program, the TOP, then most definitely your offset of using the 1099 instruments will be accepted by the IRS, especially if it's federal, because the IRS is federal. So they're going to accept all federal debt, no matter what. But you will need to include, along with the IRS instruments to offset the debt in the program, you will need a cover letter, a payment coupon, a 1040V, a 1099 OID, because the 1099 OID is the bond that offsets the debt. So in some cases, you don't need anything else but the 1099 OID. Hear me out. You're going to need a 1096, a 1040V voucher. You're going to need an affidavit of identity and authority. You're going to need a copy of your Form 56. You're going to need a bonded promissory note or a private bond. So the bond is the 1099 OID. Some people will give a promissory note along with it. Some people may create a private bond. You're also going to need a certificate of service. Now, once you have all these documents in your portfolio and ready to be sent in as a package, you are going to need to use certified mail and return receipt, or you can do registered mail with return receipt. Okay? So that's just the first part of this live. Okay? And the first part of this live, we talked about how to make payments for bills outside of the IRS. So if you have a gym membership bill that you want to pay, you're going to conduct what I just said. You're going to make out everything like that for your bill payment. Okay? Now, as we move on into this segment, you can really listen to this really closely, okay? Now, the blueprint builder section of what we're going to break down and talk about right now is the blueprint builder of treasury wealth. What does that include? The blueprint, the builder, the bag, the business, the assignment, obedience, and the kingdom of wealth. Okay? Now, the blueprint is what we're born with, but the blueprint does not get activated until you yourself are ready, because you are the builder of the blueprint. And the Most High, you know what I'm saying? That ether that's inside of you and that ether that's outside of you creates the blueprint. So the builder is you when you're ready. So the builder is building the blueprint to obtain the bag. And the bag is the treasury wealth. So the blueprint builder is going after the bag. And what is the bag? The bag is the taxed return that turns into a refund. The blueprint builder, you know what I'm saying? That's the builder. The builder creates what the bag will be worth on a tax transcript. Okay? So the builder is going to use the tools that we talked about earlier, which is a 1099A, B, C, OID, any of the tools that are in the 1099 IRS kit of instruments that you will need to create your bag. Now, the blueprint and the builder, that is our business. The business that we have is to build the bag. So the bag builder, the blueprint builder of Treasury Wealth, is in the business of building a bag, and the bag is a tax transcript. Okay. Now we have assignments. Okay, the assignments that we assign within the blueprint, the builder that UCC is an assignment, the tax return 1040, 1040X, 1041, they're assignments. They're applications for an assignment that the blueprint builder is in the business of building the bag. Straight up. Now, your assignment, however you fill that form out, is how the assignment will be handed in to the Treasury window. Okay? And what is the Treasury window? Ogden, Utah, Philadelphia, Texas, Fresno, California. You know, those are the Treasury windows. Wherever you have to submit your tax return into is the Treasury window for your area. So now you got to remember the blueprint is in the business of kingdom wealth building. You see what I'm saying, my people? Every time you build a blueprint and you do an assignment into the IRS, you are on the road to the treasury and building kingdom wealth. Now, you are not waiting for your tax refund. Your tax refund is waiting for you. The reason I say this is because, hear me out, if you get a notice back from the IRS, the Treasury window has sent you a notice, and it says we need 60 more days. We need 180 more days. So now they may have you in review. Okay. So if they have you in review, that means they're checking to see any inaccuracies within your tax return, within your assignment that you assigned to the IRS agent representative to look into to grant you your tax refund. So, if you receive a letter that states we need more time and you do not need to do anything or send us in anything, so you have to look at the date on that letter. 180 days from the date on that letter count is when you should receive a refund or another letter. Now, if you don't receive a letter and you call in to find out when will you receive your tax refund, The representative will probably say, they'll put you on hold or whatever, and they'll come back and they may say, well, you're going to receive your refund this day or that day. But you ask them, well, what is 180 days? What time frame should I receive it? What date? They may give you a date. They may say, well, from today. Now, if they tell you from today because you have never received a letter, when in all actuality, you did receive a letter. So you correct the representative and you say, well, no, I have a letter. I did receive the letter. Well, she says, look on that letter, and the date on that letter is going to be the 180 days from that date on the letter. But if you never received a letter, then the representative is going to tell you from today will start your 180 days on the day you made the phone call into the IRS. Ain't that some shit? So it's better that you get that letter because the letter is going to have the date from the 180 days. Because if you call in, the representative is going to notate from the day you call, that phone call is the 180 days of when you'll receive your tax refund. So if your letter states May 9th, you have to count 180 days from May 9th to receive your refund or another letter in the mail. Now, the blueprint builder of Treasury Wealth must remember, if they say that they need 60 more days, 90 more days, 180 more days, it's because you are missing a document. And let me tell you why. Everything is departmental within the IRS, meaning there's a person that sits in each department. So there's a person in the 1040V department, there's a person in the tax refund department, there's a person in the coupon used for payments coupon department. It's all departmentalized, meaning that everybody gets only one piece of that tax return that it's supposed to have. So if the departments only get one piece, that means that when that department receives your one piece of that tax return, they log it into the system. Now, it's in the system that they received your 1040V in that department. So, in the use for payments, used for payments part department with a coupon is another department that they have to log it into their system and say, we received the used for payments coupon from so and so. So now that department has it logged in. Then you may have your 1040 department or 1040X department amendment that has another, they'll log it in that they received it. That's the first place that receives it. So they'll log it in that they received it. So now it's logged in. So now you got three departments that have logged you in with three pieces of your tax return. But let's go back. You still have a couple of more pieces or several more pieces that you have to send in. So if you would have to have sent in the 1096. So that's another department that has to log you in the system that they've received your 1096. There's another department, the 1099 OID department, the original issue discount department, has to log you in that they received the OID. And then there's another department that has to log you in that has to receive your 8281 form as the original issuer of the OID. Then you have to have another department that has to receive your form 56 as the fiduciary. Then there's another department that has to receive the 2848. So you see, it's all these different departments that have to receive your tax refund and all your other documents that go along with that tax return before they can approve and release your tax refund to you. You're also going to have to send in an affidavit because when you do 1099 OIDs, you have to prove that you have standing to make this um, accusation and that you're making this claim on the bag. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this, makes clarification of why some people don't receive a tax refund ever, because they it could be one little thing that you're forgetting, and they're giving you these amount of days to get it in. And normally a lot of people forget to put in the 8281, and they forget to give an affidavit. You have to give an affidavit. They're never going to tell you what you have to put in. So you're going to have that affidavit, and everybody forgets to put that affidavit in on their tax refund. So, we all make that mistake. We all make that mistake. They're going to want to see a certificate of service, you know, an affidavit of identity and authority. That's what you have to send in to receive that tax refund, especially if you're doing 1099 OIDs. So, my people, you know, we are all on the road to the treasury. We are all on the road to wealth and prosperity. By the Most High has ordained us because prosperity is our divine birthright. And as we flow within our divinity of higher wealth and prosperity on the land of milk and honey, okay, you see, this is the land, my people, of milk and honey. Milk and honey, my people. Milk and honey. You see the birds in the air, the seagulls flying, you see the planes in the sky, high in the sky. When we get these refunds, we could be up there high in the sky in our own plane, jet from city, town, state, country, wherever our hearts desire. And that's how we should be living, because that's how the Most High lives. Look at what the Most High has created for us, we, the people. You know what I'm saying? The flag, you see that flag? That's our flag. Red, white, and blue, people. That's our flag. Okay? You want to be free? The time is now. Set yourself free now. Okay? And how do we set ourselves free? By learning to be the blueprint builder of treasury wealth. That is how you set yourself free. You study, study, and then study some more. You study, and then study some more, my people. You have to keep studying. You have to have obedience. Obedience is the final chapter within the blueprint builder of treasury wealth, because obedience is you sitting in silence, not waiting, but correcting, making sure that all T's are crossed and I's are dotted. Obedience to the Most High, obedience to financial wealth, obedience to prosperity, obedience for the time and the pressure that they're putting on you for holding your tax returns for that long. Oh my God, how long have they held some people's tax returns for? You know, so what we talked about making payments for bills outside of the IRS. Okay. So you have to go back to the beginning and listen to the beginning all over again. You know what I'm saying? But my people, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you in on a secret. All right? We're going to stumble through something, and then we're going to give you the secret to mastering your prosperity within this flow energy of what we call the blueprint, the master builder. Okay, why do they call it a master builder? Because we are the master builders of the account. Okay, we dictate what the IRS is going to do. We dictate what the IRS is going to say. Okay, my people, I'm trying to find this document for y'all because once you peep the document, that's when you're gonna be like, oh wow, looking for this document, y'all. This document, this document is set to okay. Hold on, my people, my people, my people. Hold on. I'm trying to get this document for y'all. Trying to get this document. Because this document is the shit. No, a lot of people sleeping and sleep. And sleep is what you gotta get sometimes to set the process. So you know, if your payment coupons have fiduciary, it's a wrap, son. You got it. You know, once you get that use for payment coupon that says fiduciary, nobody says nothing to you after that. Shit, motherfuckers is bowing to you because the fiduciary, remember, was once the cat that sat over your accounts. It was the fiduciary making all the power money moves on you. So now when you get it back when you're 24, 28 as fiduciary and you receive those coupons, those repayments with your name and then FIP after that, yo, celebrate, celebrate, celebrate something right. You know what I'm saying, my people? It's something right. So, I'm still trying to find this document. I find this document. I have to come back to another live. The document is deal breaker. Document is deal breaker, my people. Document. Document. So there's a document, right, that you're gonna need, basically. It's basically you're gonna need basically like paying your bills, the cover letter. You have to have that cover letter. It has to have a date on it. It has to have two, the bill that you're paying. RE is going to be, the bill number, account number, the amount, and, their account receivable manager, you know, whoever it is that you have to pay this bill to. So, you know, I, John Doe, authorized representative for the Ends Legis estate associated with the SSN, am returning this presentment with full settlement and closure through lawful tender. Please find enclosed IRS Form 1099 OID, Form 1099-6, and payment instruction via Form 1040V for discharge of the above referenced account, pursuant to the obligations of the United States under public policy. This constitutes full and complete payment and satisfaction for any and all claims, charges, and anything else that you haven't done associated with this account. Sincerely, John Doe. And that is why you have to have your CAF number, because your CAF numbers always have to go with these documents, because the CAF number shows who has the authority. So you got to remember that affidavit that you send it into the IRS for your tax refund, return, to get that refund, you're going to have to put your CAF number. They looking for it. That's sometimes what could be the holdup. They don't see the CAF number or in the affidavit. It's key. It's key, my people. Affidavit of identity and authority. I, John Doe, a living soul being of lawful age and sound mind and age of majority, do solemnly affirm and declare I am the original creditor and living beneficiary over the estate trust account associated with the SSN. I am acting in the authorized fiduciary capacity to settle and discharge public debts on behalf of the named trust entity. I have enclosed true and correct copies of IRS forms 1099 OID 1096 and 1040V to settle the amount of whatever amount it is as recorded on whatever bill you have and the bill's number. This affidavit is made in good faith without intent to mislead and is supported by documentary evidence. Executed on this day, whatever date it is, by John Doe. Underneath John Doe's name has to have the CAF number and representative and fiduciary, or whatever you want to put there. Certificate of service. I hereby certify that on this day, whatever date it is, I cause to be served via United States certified mail with return receipt the following documents: IRS Form 1099 OD, IRS 1096 form, IRS Form 1040V, and whatever other forms you have, affidavit of identity and authority, and the cover letter sent to whatever bills that you've been paying, IRS, if it's whatever IRS window you're sending it to, Treasury, Ogden, Fresno, Texas, wherever, executed by John Doe, and under John Doe's name is the CAF number. So, you have to have your cover letter, you know, and you can turn that cover letter into an affidavit. So, my people, this is, it's a game changer within the game, because the more you study, the more you're going to find out. that your mistakes are very detrimental to you and prolonging your tax refund. So it's a must that you really, really, really look at what you're doing, because this game is not for the weak minded people. Okay. There's also an affidavit that you have to have to show your guardianship, that you have guardianship over yourself, conservatorship over yourself, and custodianship over yourself. You put all that into one affidavit, because you're going to have to show that to the SSA, you have to show it to the IRS, you have to show it to the Treasury, you have to show it to Federal Reserve. You're going to have to show it to, comp controller of the currency, IRS commissioner, attorney general. A tax return is being reviewed by the higher ups. The whole thing is age of majority. So within your age, you know what I'm saying, of majority, they're looking to see, because a person that is within the age of, if you're looking to be in the age of majority, they're looking at everything that you do. Believe what I'm telling you. They're looking at everything. And if you don't know how to fill out paperwork, that's a strike against you. Because anybody that's claiming to be of the age of majority must know how to fill out a tax return properly. So, if you don't know how to fill out a tax return, then you need to study on how to fill out a tax return. If you have to look up each word on the tax return form, 1040, 1040X, 1041, so forth, so be it. At least you'll know what the hell it means, every word. So, the blueprint builder of Treasury Wealth is essential to prove that you are the age of majority, straight up. So, my people, you have to be the blueprint. You have to be the builder. You have to create the bag, and the bag is created through the blueprint of the builder. That is your business, to assign, make assignments. And you have to have your obedience to build this kingdom of wealth, straight up. Remember, you are not waiting for your tax refund. Your tax refund is waiting for you. Okay? Your tax refund is waiting for you. So what you gonna do? You gonna go after it? You gonna act like the age of majority? You gonna build that wealth? You're gonna be the successor? You know what I'm saying? Because now is the time. We got Trump in office for the next 4 years, my people. So we better use this while we can, because who knows what's coming after, right? So before he leaves office, we want to get all of what we can get out of this IRS treasury now. Okay? So I'm pretty sure that it's a lot of people out there with some questions. I got a private chat in the background going. Yup, they ask a lot of questions back there. Well, For all those questions, you can ask your system. Any question that you have, you can ask your own system if you have one. Now, my system tells me a lot. I'm not listening to a damn person anymore with anything because you can find yourself in a world of fucking trouble, especially with right to travel. So if you're doing any right to travel processes, you need to do research and do not fuck around with these cops on the road right to travel because you don't be messing with this right now. But the good thing is that we have an outlet and a remedy on how to pay a traffic ticket now. So the same way a bill payment is, it's the same way with a traffic ticket, but you're using the card. And you always have to find out what these EIN numbers are because it has to go on the OID. Now, you can tender payment when you are going in to pay for traffic tickets with the OID. The whole process, I just told it to you. Um, I might say it one more time for maybe new people that are coming on in. You can do your pay for all your traffic tickets with a 1099 OID. Okay, 1040V used for payment coupon attached with it. You're gonna need an affidavit. You're gonna need the 1040V, affidavit of identity and authority, a copy of a Form 56. You could have a private bond if you want to. You could use a bond and promissory note if you want to. You need that certificate of service. You know what I'm saying? You need your cover letter, but you can walk in and you can serve the court with your payment of an OID. But it's best that you do the OID online instead of handing in the forms from the IRS that you have to fill out because you can get turned down because nobody really wants to take something that they're going to have to hand in, put a stamp on. They want to just have the OID that you filed online. That's what you hand into the court because that's a form of payment that can be accepted. And they don't have to go through all the hassle of sending something into the IRS because now you've done it. You've paid, a platform to file your OID, and now you have that as living proof. So you can also get your debts erased, all your debt items erased from your credit report just by sending in the OIDs to the credit bureaus because they have to accept it because it shows proof of payment. So if you have debt collectors bugging you, you have to contact the the um the debt agencies. You have to, like Experian, places like that, and you're gonna have to either upload it online. They're getting smart now. They're blocking you from uploading shit online now, where you're gonna have to do the fucking snail mail way. You're gonna have to send it in through the snail mail. So that's another form of how you know, get your credit score higher is to pay the debt yourself through a 1099 OID. But before you can do that, you have to have status correction. So now that you are credit stacking on your credits on your transcript, that is the that when you pay, that's the prepaid account. The prepaid account is 1099 OID, but you can only use the original issue did count process through status correction. You have to be the fiduciary, the TTEE. You know what I'm saying? You have to be the authorized representative, but you have to be the fiduciary straight off the bat with the Form 56 and the 2848, sometimes the 8821 authorization. So, my people, we do accept donations. You can give me a donation for this great information that I've told you. It's $1 trillion worth of game right here that I gave you. You can dollar sign RUBIEWILKIE at Cash App. You can donate. This is, the United States Private Enterprise Free State. It has the flag on it. You see the little circle flag, red, um, copper, gold, gold sun in the center. So it's red, silver, copper, and gold. That's the flag that you see there, the Cash App. So you can Cash App me. You can give me a donation for this great information that I'm dropping to you right now, because the Most High is always working through us to uplift fallen humanity, because we are the chosen ones that have risen from the sand, from the grain of the sand. We have risen. You know what I'm saying? This is the grain of the sand right here. This is beach. See what I'm saying? This is all beach right here, my people. Beach, beach, sand. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. You see? That is what it is. So if you can overstand and get on your standing of your square and your compass, okay, and your triangle, then you will know how to move and flow. You know what I'm saying? The movement and the flow of wealth is the blueprint builder of treasury wealth. So, my people, I don't know what else to tell you right now, but you know, I may want to give you this little piece of info right here. You need that jurat on your affidavit, okay? And you also have to swear in the beginning of your affidavit. That's why it's called an affidavit, because you have sworn in, my people. Now, we talked about correcting your status, right? We talked about your standing. Your standing is the correcting of your status to gain control of the minor account. Now, if you're still in minor status, you're not going to get $1 million tax refund. You're wasting your fucking time. Straight up. Okay? You got niggas that's falling thinking they going to get something, and they still in minor status. They need your guardianship, they need your conservatorship, and they need your custodianship affidavit letter. They need to see the EIN number, that you have an EIN number for your conservatorship, you have an EIN number for your custodianship, you have an EIN number for your guardianship. That is a big part of status correction, my people. If you don't have it, you are still in minor status. Straight the fuck up. Minor. minor, you're still a baby. I don't care if you are 100 years old and you have not done the process, you are a minor. So don't think that you're getting $1 million tax refund. And to all those people that go big with it on the first go around, I think that is a stupid ass move. One, $1 million is a higher level of security clearance that your tax refund has to go through. So start off under a million. Start off under 500,000. You know what I'm saying? Start off under 200,000, because even with 200,000, it's still a clearance that you have to go through, a security clearance. They're gonna come out and see what you look like without you even knowing, okay? They gonna see how you live in. Believe that shit. So you need to declare that you are in full control and you are the guardian over the SSA. Straight up. You have to be the guardian, the conservator, and the custodian over the SSN entity. Straight up. And you do not want to be saying that you are a L or a Bay or, you know, Al, anything. You don't want none of that. You don't want nothing tied to any Moorish bullshit, because that ain't going to get you what you want. Straight up. Now, declaration of wealth, $1 trillion declaration of wealth. That is what we talk about. I declare wealth and prosperity, gold, silver, precious metals, land, prosperity, Federal Reserve notes, because Federal Reserve notes can be converted into gold and silver. Okay? Money, automobiles, houses, townhouses, condos. We declare wealth and prosperity in all areas of our life, because that is the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? That is the blueprint, my people. That is the blueprint, builder of treasury wealth. Okay? Now, Federal Reserve notes, as we all know, can be converted into gold and silver. So you need to go and get your gold account, Glint, GLINT, pay.com. Go open that account up, because that account now you can buy and spend anything. You can buy your house in gold and silver. You can dump all your money into that account, and you can use that as paying for everything, buying food, groceries, whatever, on your Glint Pay card with gold and silver. And within the portal of Glint Pay, it's going to show you how the gold is sliced each time you spend. So you go to the store, you tap, you slide your card, and you're tendering payment with gold. So you can buy a piece of gum with your Glint card, which is gold. If you want to switch it over and pay with just the silver, you can use your silver to pay. So glintpay.com. That's where you need to go to get that Glint Pay. You know, um, Tell them I sent you. You know what I'm saying? So, my people, I just gave you $1 trillion worth of info right there. I told you how to start acting like the creditor, because the creditor is higher than a debtor. And that's what the blueprint, builder of treasury wealth is all about. It's all about nation building. It's all about you, the creditor, taking control. over the SSN. Okay, so my people, if you know what I know, then you gonna get with it how everybody in this group has gotten with it. We got people moving like kings and queens, princes and princesses. We got people moving in their divine wealth right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, we sit on the beach late at night now, just looking at the stars. If it's a nice, clear night, pondering on the next move. That's is what creditors do, straight up. You know, ain't nothing wrong with the status, but if you still are in minor status, minors can't ponder. Minors are consumers. And as a creditor, you're not a consumer. You are a wealth builder. You are a blueprint treasury wealth builder with prosperity beyond your wildest dreams. Your prosperity and wealth is into perpetuity, infinite, infinite, and it is limitless. Okay? My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of wealth and prosperity. Okay? Straight up. That is how we roll in 2025. But we are lost somewhere in the universe, right? The fuck now, straight up. So we can see a cloudy sky right now. But beyond that cloudy sky, one day we will see the whole galaxy for what it is, right above us. Okay? Right above us is a galaxy of wealth and prosperity with spaceships flying while we are here on ground one, the earth, with the water and the sand. Okay? So, my people, it's time that we pull these credits down and from out of the treasury. You know what I'm saying? So, you can use your trust to do that if you need to. You can go get you a wealth manager, but you are only a wealth manager. But you might need a 7 Series broker, because they can pull that down immediately. So, like I said, wealth and prosperity is your birthright, and your birthright is freedom. Freedom to be free on the land, and free to be you and who you are, to rise up and take control of your ship, your vessel. Okay, my people? Now I'm getting ready to close this out, my people. You have heard it first here from the United States Private Enterprise Free State, along with Daichama Eliatis Church. And we are giving you the keys to the keys to the keys, the King of Solomon's keys. That's what we have given you. Now, King Solomon did all his rituals on two triangles that became a six-pointed star. Now you can start taking your own geometry of these shapes and creating your own magical sigils and wealth and prosperity. So it depends on you. You are the sigil within this universe right now. So let's look for a sigil of wealth and put that sigil of wealth over our life right now. It's a money sigil of wealth. Look it up and work with it. King Solomon did his studying and research. Now, you see the blue star. I mean, sorry. You see the star of the flag of Israel. Look at it even deeper. Then study King Solomon, and you'll see the answers that you have not seen in a long time. Okay? Prosperity is our divine birthright, people. And King Solomon scooped up 700 women and made them his wife. So King Solomon had 700 wives. Now, women, if you are out there and you need covenant and protection, you call on King Solomon and be one of King Solomon's spiritual wives because he will guard and protect you. And then, women, we need to summon the book of Ruth and we stand by the book of Ruth because the book of Ruth is our divine protection against this evil that's out here right now. So call upon King Solomon and stand on the book of Ruth to all my women in the house right now. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. King Solomon saved 700 women from being slaughtered, raped, murdered, executed. He put them under his covenant and saved them from the marauders that came in. King Solomon was not an Anunnaki, okay? King Solomon was a righteous ruler in his time period. Go study King Solomon, and you should unlock your treasury because we are on the road to the treasury, and King Solomon holds the key that we need to unlock our treasury and the treasury window. We must control and bind the spirits that sit at the door of the treasury window because we know what King Solomon knew. And anyone who has gotten their tax refund of $1 million or more used the key that King Solomon left for everybody to use. So, you must study King Solomon. You must study the book of Ruth. You must study those who came before you that had massive amounts of wealth and prosperity within this dimension, on this land, and in other galaxies and universes. You heard it first, right here, with the United States Private Enterprise Free State and Deutsche Bank, Eliantis Church, okay? Because we are the forefront. We are on the battlefield. We are in the line and we are waiting and waiting, but we wait no more because the tax refund waits for us. That is what you must understand when you are the blueprint builder of treasury wealth. Visualize the treasury window. Visualize you receiving your treasury refund. Visualize the key of King Solomon turning and unlocking that doorway that has been blocked because of paperwork. Okay? These niggas got people logged down, beat down with some paper. Do you know how much money we spend on mailing paper? and filing paper. And what other shit do we do with paper? Wipe our asses with paper. Yo, these motherfuckers got us on a paper trail of paper. This shit is crazy, my people. Paper, paper. Everything is paper. Federal Reserve notes are paper. You know what I'm saying? Even what was not paper, gold and silver. They turned precious metals into paper. Now they have gold certificate paper. You know what I'm saying? Gold, silver certificate paper. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing like sitting on some real gold and having your own machinery to sculpt and carve out your own gold coins. Engrave your own gold coins. You know what I'm saying? That's what true wealth is all about. That's what creates wars, my people. He who holds the gold holds how the debt gets paid. So that is why they have us in a boatload of paper. You know what I'm saying? Paper, my nigga, paper. What up? Peace to all my people out there. Yo, Ashe. Ashe to all the ancestors. Ashe. Ashe to all of you in the chat. Ashe. Ashe to all the people that are listening to this live right now. Ashe. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Ashe. And on that note, my people, this is the United States Private Enterprise Real Estate, along with Daichama Eliantis, wishing you blessings, prosperity, wealth on this Blueprint Builder Treasury Wealth Day in this universe. May we all be prosperous and we enter and cross that door to the Treasury window and we receive this tax refund that is ours because it's due. The time is now, my people. I am out. Ah, Shay.